Yo, hey Couchdoodlers, it's FragaBoom and I'm back to ask you a question. You've just done what you think is the coolest cover you've ever done, and you've been asked to do another cover. How do you top yourself? Find out on this episode of the Couchdoodle Show.
A FragaBoom!
Oh, we are back. That's right, Couchdoodlers. I've been asked to do another Bloodstrike cover. Now, this is an awesome assignment, but I'll tell you what, I get a little bit of anxiety knowing I've got to do a better job than the one I did last time, and I'm always up for a challenge. So what did I do this time? I went deep into my mind, and I remembered something that I saw back in 1990. It was Todd McFarlane talking to Stan Lee. You want to check out what I'm talking about? Let's go. And there it is, the comic book greats with Todd McFarlane Part 2, roughly around 11:20. Let's check it out.
Angle or the perspective, because you can't see it in a dull way. You know it's got to be exciting.
Right. Well, the one little story that I tell the kids that they seem to like is, and I usually do this when I'm at a convention or something. I get the whole crowd there. Is my whole essence of what comic books is I could take a character like Thor and I could make a poster of him picking his nose, and the kids would buy it. Now, I usually get like a little bit.
I say it would be a collector's item.
Yeah, well, and they laugh and they go, "There's no way. I mean, he's picking his nose. There's no way you can do it." And the way you can do it is by doing all the things that make comic book interesting. Now, when I draw Thor does not stand there like you and I. Thor stands there. His legs would be bow-legged. His chest would be barreled out. In the one hand, he's got his hammer. He'd be holding his hammer again with a tight clenched fist so that his veins were rippling through his arm right here. I'd give him wings on his helmet that were fluttering in the wind, twisting and turning. He's got long hair like a girl. It would be coming over his face, blowing out
The
here.
wind has to be blowing.
Oh, the wind's got to be blowing.
And the cape has to be blowing.
And the cape would be all over the place. The hair would be all over the place. I'd have dust billowing up at his feet. And hidden in all that, he'd be sitting there with his left hand, getting that little booger there. And you want to know what? You wouldn't even know that he was picking his nose. So the point is, if I can make a guy picking his nose exciting, then I can make him slugging somebody easily exciting. So,
Yeah! Do you see what I'm saying? All those things. I put that mindset into my head and I applied them to drawing this next Bloodstrike cover. Let's take a magical trip. Right, here we are. This is the layout. This is the very first layout that I did. And as you can see, I wanted some light going on. I wanted some fireworks or an explosion, city horizon. But where is all the other crazy stuff? Let's find out. I'm just going to draw it straight in on this quality Image Comics artboard. This is classic from the early 90s. I still have a few sheets. This is the rough board. We're going to use the big chunky pencil, chunka, and some Kuretake ink with a 104 nib. Let's get into it. Yep. We're going to take this here pencil and I'm going to transfer with my mind down. Let's give it a watch. Yeah. This is the actual sound my brain makes when I'm translating things down from my mind onto paper. Sounds like an old school printer. And now I'm just tightening up some of the details of his pouches, his sword, and here he is in his full pencil glory. I usually pencil loose like this when I'm making myself. I think it matches the layout pretty well. And those are the pencils, or what I thought at first were the pencils, but there was something really bothering me about this composition. He didn't look tough enough. Nope. He didn't have what McFarlane was talking about. Some of that action within the action. What else was going on? I needed wind. I needed tatters. I needed that cape and feathers and all that stuff. So, I adjusted. Check. And here he is. I decided to drop his pointing arm down, add some skulls at his feet, make him look cool. Now let's jump into the inking section. had somebody tell me that the time lapses were hard to watch, so this is my answer to them. A nice close-up of the 104 nib, inking some of my favorite things. This is the Tatters and Tears, another throwback to guys like Sam Keith and Todd McFarlane. I always thought they added a nice bit of dimension to contours. You know, you have a shape and you put another shape on top of it with some cast shadow and some interaction with weather, and it looks cool. Here are a bunch of the tatters all wrapped up and some of the contour lines. Still kind of figuring out some of the lighting. Here's some of the pouch work. You can see that the guns aren't really fleshed out. And here's adding some shadows. The light source is coming from frame right, from an off-screen explosion from the stuff he shot. Let's see what we got next. The guns. I usually think of guns now as shapes, and then I put shapes on those shapes. And here you can see I put a vanishing point in his ponytail to make sure that the volume of the gun was fitting right with the planes. And usually this is enough also to start inking from. Once I had penciled the details of the gun, I decided to add some extra details of these skeletons and skulls at the suggestion of my buddy Brian Pierce. He was totally right, so all I had left was them and the guns and this here itchy trigger finger. This cover was a beast. It took me a bit longer than I had anticipated because it was very detailed. But I am a huge fan of detail and I feel like it was worth it. And here we have it, the finished cover. Here's where we added all those things McFarlane was talking about. Action on the foot, skidding dirt, skull grabbing the sword that had been stuck through his belly. There's going to be an atomic blast blowing this stuff. It's him ejecting the shells. Him in mid-action. Just made the biggest bada boom ever. And that's it. That's my new cover. I hope I did a good job. I hope I topped myself. Now do me a favor. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that little bell to get notifications when I post. I'm going to try to post every week. And I got some really great things in stores, like some tutorials and some interviews with masters. Thank you. I'm FragaBoom. I'll see you soon. Check out the cover.